Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Inside the Walls podcast. I know
What?
it has been
Wait, where
2
am I?
weeks. Oh, sorry. Adult life happened 2 weeks ago. The flu kicked my last week. I would have sounded like a Timu version of Darth Vader. Would have been very bad for me to be on podcast talking like that. People will be like, man, he's being a disgrace to the Star Wars series, but that's why we didn't do anything. And we wanted to get a show in this week because, again, graduations happened this week for a bunch of us. A bunch of us have other duties with other organizations that we had to focus on. But we wanted to get an episode out. We'll be back on schedule next week on Tuesday night, 9 o'clock on all social media platforms. But we want to get something out here because we got a lot of playoff implications, a lot of things happening this week in the National Arena League that are going to be determinant. Honestly, one game could determine the whole thing for the four field. National in the league, kind of national division kind of wrapped up. American division, a lot of stuff that could be in play as well. We'll recap some of the standings, but we'll preview most importantly all the games this weekend, which will be the main focus of this episode. Then on Tuesday we'll get back on track, get some players on here for some interviews, and get back on schedule. Been away from a couple weeks, but it's good to be back. Hopefully that you guys didn't miss us. We've gotten some DMs from a lot of our supporters and listeners and saying where we've been. Do apologize. We are back. We will not miss the postseason run, especially that starts tomorrow night. Some great action coming your way in the National Arena League. But I can't do this without my partners in crime from the Omaha region, Matt Patton, and from West Virginia, Jeff Blue.
Road.
I had to do that. I haven't done that in a
Every
couple of
time.
weeks.
Every time.
Every time it works every time. Oh, was it 60% of the time works every time?
That doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't. Juan Diego. We're now going to get into the Anchorman situation.
Yeah, we'll get some copyrights if we do that. So
Yeah, we'll be flagged everywhere. But hopefully everyone's having a blessed week out there. Let's go recap the week 11 players of the week. Jeff, name these players, sir.
So, offensive player of the week is Andre Sale from the Colorado Spartans. Defensive player of the week was Cornell Jones from the Wheeling Miners. And then special teams player of the week, Lucas Ferreira from the Colorado Spartans. So,
yeah, Andre Sale led Colorado offensively, 8 of 21 for 183 yards and 6 touchdowns. So obviously well deserved. Linebacker Cordell Jones for Wheeling had 6 tackles with 1 interception and 1 touchdown. And then the kicker, Luis Ferreira, I believe is how you say that, was 6 of 8 for PATs last week for Colorado. So say what you will, but 6 of 8 in PATs in arena football is not something to bat an eye at. So
Yeah, especially with the goalposts are like small.
Yep. Yeah, I was just having that conversation with Caleb Shudak actually yesterday about just how he's improved throughout the season, and then like he was just talking about like as the season moves on, you get more used to kicking in those and everything like that. So
There are some crucial games that we could discuss because we're wrapping up the season, and usually playoff scenarios, the final 2 weeks of the season, become big implications. Week 12 and week 13, the final 2 weeks of the regular season, will produce some intriguing matchups, some intriguing scenarios, and some of them are very confusing. We will have an updated scenario chart tomorrow on our social media platform so you guys get updated, but we'll want to talk to you what happens this week. So here's the slate for week 12 of the National Arena League. All games are on Saturday, kicking off in Wheeling, West Virginia. The Columbus Lions are traveling to the Wheeling Miners in the American. Also in the American Division, the Alabama Empire are traveling to the Beaumont Renegades. National Division, the Shreveport Riveroo travel to the Omaha Beef, and Colorado travels to Sioux City. There is going to be some unique situations that happen, especially in the American Division. In the American Division, ladies and gentlemen, people want to know how are these situations, who has to control their own destiny, what needs to happen for certain teams to make the final spot in the American Division. Right now, Beaumont Renegades have wrapped up the number 1 seed in the American Division championship game. They will host No matter what happens this week, no matter what happens next week, they will be hosts for a playoff home game. They will either play Columbus, Shreveport, or Willing. That's when it starts getting interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Some chaotic things happen. What is the easiest path to the second seed in the American? Columbus wins, it's over. Columbus wins, they clinch it. They are the 2 seed. That's the easiest path of all the teams in the NAL, especially in the American League, American Division. Columbus wins, they're in. But if Columbus loses, Shreveport wins, and Willing wins, then all 3 teams are still alive going to the final week of the season. But when you get to the final week of the season, Willing, the Miners, have to win both games no matter what. It is literally they're literally the team in the losers bracket trying to get out of the winners, get in the winners bracket. They got to win both games, get in that regional baseball type of situation. So Omaha fans know this because it's getting close to the World Series. So you know about the regional play. Just image that. Willing needs to win both games against Columbus. If they win both games against Columbus, they need Shreveport to lose 1 game. If that happens, they're in. Willing needs to win 2. Shreveport needs to lose 1, and they get in. Shreveport gets in if they go undefeated and Columbus loses 1. That's when they're in. Columbus is in with 1 win, no matter what. Okay, let's recap that. For Willing to make the playoffs, they must win the next 2 with Shreveport losing 1 of the next 2. Shreveport's in if they go undefeated with Columbus losing 1. Columbus is in with 1 win the next 2 games. They're in. That's the playoff scenario in the American. Now we go into the national. There's really no playoff scenario. It's more about who is hosting the national division championship game. Omaha wins. They need Colorado to lose for them to clinch, because that will lock up the spot, and they'll have a better They will have a better division record than Colorado, which they will automatically host the game no matter what. Or if Colorado wins and Omaha loses, then you get a winner-take-all game the final week of season, because Colorado and Omaha play each other to wrap up, and the winner of that will host. So a lot of situations happen here in the national division, but a lot more intriguing matchups are happening in the American. I know that's a lot of stuff to break down, ladies and gentlemen. The people will be like, okay, so what? It's like the sign. I need that GIF there where the person's looking, all the math is flying. It's basically what the scenarios are. The question is, I guarantee you, I have Beaumont fans out there. If Beaumont win, what does Beaumont need to get the number 1 overall? They're hosting both rounds of the playoffs. They win, and they need either Omaha or Colorado to lose once. Both of them.
Well, yeah, and so I think we also need to clarify from that Week 12 schedule that Alabama Empire game is their replacement game for Amarillo. So that game counts on their record. So
it counts on their record, but does not count towards the league play.
Correct.
So, and we have one of our usuals chiming in, Coach Resinal, Mr. Stalking the fans there in West Banco yesterday for the concert. I saw that of Willing popping off on lives.
He wasn't
randomly.
stalking. He was giving out tickets.
Yeah, but some of the videos he was doing was kind of creepy-ish. I'm just saying.
Listen, it was like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Is basically the way it was. Where in the world is Coach Rez?
It's either on the east or the west side of the river.
I mean, to be fair, our AAA team here in Omaha actually did something like that today. They were like, come down and find us at the Gene Leahy Mall. It's this place downtown. We've got free tickets because some guy from the University of Florida, you guys might have heard of Jack Caglione or something, is making his debut at home on Tuesday for the Storm Chasers. I don't know.
Ooh, he can swing a bat and hit home runs. Yeah. The last guy I said that he's going to be a nobody was Peter Alonso, and he goes to the Mets and just, Mr. 30 average home runs every year for the Mets.
But we're not.
Didn't do anything this past weekend, but I digress, especially against the Red Sox. But you both are fans of 2 organizations on the 2 different spectrums in the postseason push. For you, Jeff, the Miners are in a situation which it literally, this is playoff season for Miners. They have to win this week no matter what, because if you don't, there's no next week for the organization. Well, no path towards playoffs.
Yeah,
What's
no
the
postseason.
vibe when
Yeah.
you get in up there and Willing?
I mean it is a win or go home basically. I mean that's what the vibe was on Thursday practice. Yesterday had a good practice, good mental day. Guys were getting into spots where they needed to be, getting different looks. So good practice all in all, and getting ready for Columbus. It's difficult to see a team like Columbus 2 times at the end of the season, but the guys are ready. They're good to go, and it's going to be interesting for sure. Last home game of the season, regular season for the Miners. So we'll see how it goes.
Last home game. So to the fans who are watching, if you're near these locations, a lot of them this week is their final regular season home game. Just go out there, spend a couple bucks, go take your family, enjoy the time. These organizations really need you guys for your support. Go out there and continue to support, even though it may not be on the side that you think. Like, oh, it's not a good season, we may miss a playoff. Still go out there and support. These organizations do a lot of work behind the scenes, and they really appreciate you guys' continued support. Now let's head to the National Division, and Matt, another fan from a different side of things, of currently right now the first place team in the National Division. Matter of fact, we have an updated graphic for the standings of the actually NAL, so you guys can have it right here. Matt, what's the vibe that you're getting currently right now with the Omaha Beef, currently right now first place in the National Division?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same vibe that we've had all year when we've had guys on this episode, on this podcast, or I've had guys on my show. They're treating it 1 week at a time. I've talked to Coach Negron. He's getting the guys ready. He's getting them, mentally and physically prepared and ready to go for this week. And they're treating Shreveport like they would treat any other opponent. They're giving them the respect they deserve. Coach talked about on the coach's show on Monday about how, like, hey, we respect these guys and we're going to give them the respect that they've earned or whatever. And the records, I mean, at this point don't really matter. I mean, they obviously do, but they don't at this point. But Omaha's going to treat this just like any other game. They're going to go out and prepare, and they have prepared all week as if this is an important game, because to them, they're all important, right? And I know Coach Negron specifically is really trying to make up for that that loss to Beaumont that he had when he first came in. And he really wants to win that championship, and so do all these guys. You talk to every single guy on this roster, whether it's a guy that joined the team, yesterday, like, or the last couple days or whatever, like a Jordan Barton, or you talk to a guy like last night, I had David Ross on the episode, who's been with the team for a few weeks now. Every single one of them to a T is like, hey, we're treating this week by week, day by day, and they're excited and they're locked in and they're going to be ready to go. But I do know that, deep down inside, they really want to be able to host that championship again, because whether they say it or not, I'm sure that somewhere in the depths of their brains or whatever, they're like, hey, we've got a chance to kind of make history.
Well, make history, but also you got to look at it. Postseason football, especially in the NAL's history, the team that hosts championship games has won the championship 100% of the time. Home field is crucial. This could be a year that it might change. But when, we're in the type of the season where I know a lot of these coaches are not taking each game as if it's, well, I can rest players here, I can do here. Especially for teams like Colorado and Omaha, they still have a lot to play for, even though they've locked up their spots. They got a lot of plus stuff to play for. Home field advantage is crucial, because you might think, oh, we can rest some players, but what happens if you do, and then you look at the scoreboard from another game in the league and realize, like, if we would have paid 100%, because, well, let's say for forecasting, what happens if Beaumont loses to Shreveport? If you didn't take that game off against this, against Shreveport or something like that, or Willing, you cost yourself not just a home game, but you also cost yourself maybe the #1 overall seed.
And right there it is, right there on the screen. I mean, like I said, I've talked to Coach Negron. If you listen to the show on Monday, the coach's show, right? He made the point. He said, like, last game against Sioux City, the last game that we saw, they gave up 44 points, and our defense isn't used to that. Before that game, they were giving up an average of 19 points a game. That's unheard of in indoor football, right? he said it, and him and I have talked about it too. Like, these guys are hungry to get back to that level of 19 points per game, and they want to prove that was an anomaly last week. So I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't want to be Shreveport, but it is what it is at this point.
It is. What was that? Was that? It is what it is. Playoffs. Talking about. Yeah, Casey, we're talking about postseason. Yes, you guys are basically in a playoff game too. One win, you guys are in. Guys drop one and Willing. Could be some interesting football next week around the National Arena League, especially for the last spot. But speaking about the games, let's get into the conversations about the games this week. We're going to do a little bit different because we just want to give some content out for you guys this week. See that we've been gone for a while. Let's start off the action with, well, we're not going to talk about the Beaumont game because it's a non-league game. Beaumont does host the Alabama Empire. We'll focus. Let's start with the game that has more implications of all three of the games. Columbus at Willing. I'm going to set the narrative. I need your opinions, both of you guys. Matt, what needs to happen for Willing to get the dub over Columbus and force a decisive game next week in Columbus?
It's going to sound really super cliche, but I think quarterback play is going to be the biggest thing. I also think turnovers. They got to prevent the turnovers. Their offense has to be clicking on all cylinders. I've heard that they've got that James Summers is struggling with an injury maybe, and I don't know, but I've heard they got some quarterback stuff coming up. But whatever, neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that their offense has to be able to move the football, get into the end zone, and score points. And that's a narrative that we've seen all season with Wheeling. Honestly, no offense to them. If I know Coach Resignalo the way I think I know Coach Resignalo, he's got them prepared this week. He's got everything, lined up, regardless of who the quarterback is, whether it's James Summers or somebody else. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is how does their offense play? And their offensive play, honestly, starts with the offensive line and how do they, be able to block and be able to protect the quarterback, whoever that might be back there, so that they can be successful on Saturday against Columbus.
Well, Jeff, what are your thoughts on what needs to happen for Columbus to pull off a game-clinching, postseason clinching win in Willing?
It starts with Espinoza. I mean, he's got to have a good game, on the ground and throwing the football. He is the trigger man now in Columbus, so he's got to get things done. And just same as Matt mentioned, he has to take care of the football. I mean, that's first and foremost. Turnovers are going to happen in this game. Possessions are viable. I mean, it's almost every offense can score in every single play. I mean, it's in every single drive. So you have to get in where you get them in. So it's one of those things. Defense is going to have to step up and put the mistake free. So it's going to be, for Columbus, they're sitting in a little bit better position, right? So if this one happens, and they're not going to let it go, but if this one happens to get out of their hands, okay, last one's at home, we feel a little bit more comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, they're in a better position, unfortunately, than what Wheeling is in.
And honestly, if you looked at as a season, it happens when you get off to a rough start, try to find yourselves injuries, and then you try to play catch up. I say for in this show and multiple shows, you want to win them early so you're not chasing wins later. Because when you're chasing wins later, those are harder to get, especially on your side when you need a lot of help around the league. Let's switch it over to the National Division. Got a crucial game for hosting purposes for the Omaha Beef, but the Shreveport Rubrers still have a shot to get into the postseason, especially if action goes in their favor in Willing. Jeff, what does Omaha Beef need to do to secure a victory over the Ruberu and get one step closer to wrapping up the number one seed in the National Division?
Don't change anything. Completely play Omaha Beef football is exactly what they have to do. They just basically get out of their own way. Don't let anything set in there and think, oh, okay, this is just Shreveport, because they can surprise you. That's the thing. It's set up to be a trap game. So Omaha has to allow themselves to not let that happen and just play Omaha Beef football. And we all know Coach Negron. He'll have the guys ready and just focused, tunnel vision of going 1-0.
Television want to know, Matt, what needs to happen for Shreveport to pull off an upset in Omaha?
Yeah, I mean, I think Shreveport's going to have to play their best game of the season, honestly. Like I talked about earlier, I know the guys on our defense are chomping at the bit to get back to that 19 points per game average that they were giving up before that game against Sioux City. Shreveport's going to have to play mistake-free football, and they're going to honestly have to be able to deal with the noise in Omaha. Neither one of you guys have been to Omaha yet. I'm excited for you to someday get here, but it is loud all the time there. And people have accused us of piping in crowd noise and all that stuff, which is completely ridiculous, but it's loud and it's loud there. And that's what our reputation is. And that's something that I think a lot of teams think they're ready for. And then when they come in, they're not actually ready for it. So that's going to be one big key thing for them is, do they have something set up for when it's so loud that they can't hear the quarterback, for the snap count and stuff like that, right? Do they have something implemented in place there? But again, obviously, I hate to be cliche again, but turnover battle, that kind of stuff. But yeah, Shreveport's going to have to play their best game of the season, in my opinion, to walk out of the Slaughterhouse, the Liberty First Credit Union Arena with a victory on Saturday night.
One possession, I'm probably wrong. I love how when fans say that. I'm probably wrong, but it'd be good. Yeah. We can also. And I'll wrap it up on the slate for Week 12. The game that has the smallest implications, but still has some postseason implication. Colorado needs to win to keep their hopes for hosting the Omaha Beef in the first round. At Sioux City, Sioux City can actually help the Omaha Beef this weekend with a win. So, little switcheroo right here. Matt, what does Sioux City need to do to pull off a win over Colorado?
I'm going to go with what Jeff said about Omaha, right? Sioux City needs to do what Sioux City does. Tyler Lowenstein is playing some of his best football of the season, some of the best football of his career, honestly. I've watched that guy play for quite a while. Excellent human being, amazing guy off the field, but he's playing some of his best football of his career. He needs to continue to do what he's doing, limit the turnovers, all that, but hand the ball to Drew Prohaska and let Drew Prohaska do Drew Prohaska things. Prohaska is currently leading the league in rushing, I believe. Yeah, leading the league in rushing and rushing touchdowns. He's got 13 rushing touchdowns on the season, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it is quite a bit, right? So, I mean, they just need to do what they do and let Bruno and Prohaska, do what they do, use their new weapons that they have with Mac and Troy Evans Jr. and just, keep that offense rolling, keep that train moving that they've got going there and just keep going with what they do because the things that they do well, right? What we've seen with Sioux City in the past and this season is when they get off of their game, that's when they struggle. So they've got to be able to stay on their game, run their game plan, listen to Coach Jensen and whatever his offensive play calls are, and be able to execute. And I think Sioux City can pull out the victory. And honestly, selfishly, I'm rooting for them to pull out the victory. So.
Oh, you're acting like a fan of your rival. I won't keep that as evidence. No, there's no video evidence of that. Jeff, what needs to happen for Colorado to win and put pressure on the Omaha Beef for that final home game?
Their stars need to shine. Sale needs to have a game like he's continued to have. Newbold needs to continue to do new bold things, returning kicks, catching touchdown passes, things of that nature. Sam Hammond needs to have a couple more sacks, which he has no problem doing, and wreaking havoc down there on the defensive line. But yeah, their key players and their star roles definitely need to have big games to get the win there because unlike Colorado, Sioux City has nothing to play for, but also nothing to lose. So they can completely play loose.
Right.
I mean, there's no good or bad. You know what I mean? Like they have nothing to lose, so why not?
Yeah, well, and Sioux City will never treat any game like it has nothing to play for.
No, exactly. No, exactly not. Yeah, Coach Irv is not like that at all. But I think what I'm saying is like,
right.
Unfortunately, like Colorado has something to put like their reason. that's going to make Sioux City dangerous because they have nothing holding them back.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
we're not going to pass over the face expression that Matt just did.
well, and two, I'm curious to see what Sioux City team shows up because unfortunately, Prohaska only played the first quarter in Wheeling, and that was it.
Mhm.
And then Fred Bruno didn't make the trip. So hard to see what team we will see in that game with Colorado.
One
They have,
thing
they have enough weapons, though.
well, you got the one thing you've noticed if you look at some of the high performances that Sioux City's had this year, with their offense output was max. They always went up against a team that played almost literally just as good as them or better.
Yeah.
Like when Sioux City had a bad game, they were still in games. But when they had good games, the teams they were playing against were just having better games. Like they had a button, and their schedule didn't really help them either.
No.
They Beaumont twice, Colorado, Omaha. Like they're only went like when they played Idaho, they looked like they were world beaters. And then you get the 2 games against Omaha, and they came down to the wire. You know, both games very exciting. Of course, we expect a rivalry,
Right.
but week 12 is amazing how the season has gone by so quick. We got 2 more weeks wrapping up. But guys, I want to ask the question to both of y'all. The next 2 weeks, take your fandom away from your favorite teams. What will you think would be the biggest shocker, good or positive? Either like a team collapses, a team comes out of nowhere. What do you think is the big thing that we'll be talking about the week up to the first round of the postseason?
I think the biggest shocker would be if everything falls and the chips fall the way they would, Shreveport making the playoffs would be insane. That would be the biggest shocker because it's still doable. There's still a chance. There's always a chance. But they would need a lot of help. But that would be crazy. It's not out of the question that it would happen.
They also have the tougher road.
True. But you asked for the most shocking thing, and there it is.
Yeah.
Matt?
And I mean, how do I follow that? I mean, I don't know. Because I mean, that would be the most shocking, and we don't mean that in any disrespectful way to Shreveport. Like, you know, Shreveport's got athletes, they've got guys, right? Like, we don't mean that in any disrespectful way, but they have the hardest path, so them making the playoffs would be shocking. Man, I mean, Shreveport just is the thing that jumps out to me. I mean, I guess for me, the most shocking thing would be, and you said take my fandom out of it, but like, it's just the nature of it. Like, would be Omaha not hosting a first round playoff game. Just that's my opinion.
Now, the shocking thing, I would say this would be like, oh, really, if this really happened, you know something had to happen. My shocking thing, if we're going to the first round playoffs, would be like, whoever thought that a team will go 6-0 will lose the next 3 games. Like Beaumont, lose out to get into the playoffs. Because they knew they had everything wrapped up and they may have taken the game, lightly. And we've seen teams do that in the past in different leagues where they had, everything was secured and, it was good. We can, sit back and just, have the chips made. And then it starts building in the back of your mind and it builds. And then you go into the playoffs on a losing streak and a team like a Shreveport may catch on fire and got in, might be the one that, spun the opposite. But let's talk about, hectic things. Usually sometimes that never, comes to fruition. That'd be something like me, a shocker, where we come in the playoff week and go, whoever thought Beaumont would lose the next 3 games? Like, that'd be shocking to me. Like, them losing complete control of their destiny. That would be something less shocking on my side. Do I think it's going to happen? No, that's why I say it's the most shocking. I will ask you what's most guaranteed, but then the show would be like just a future cast like crazy. But to wrap it up, the show, we just want to get to a 30-minute show here, ladies and gentlemen, because we've been gone for 2 weeks. We'll be back Tuesday at normal time at 9 o'clock to break down Week 12 action and preview a crucial Week 13. Remember, Week 12 kicks off on Saturday with 3 league games. The Clemson Lions travel to the Wheeling Miners. Freeport travels to the Omaha Beef. And the Colorado Spartans travel to the Sioux City Bandits. Also, a non-league game. Alabama Empire travel to the Beaumont Renegades. All games are on nationalarenaleague.com. Click on Watch Game link. Click on there. And remember, after the games, vote for the players of the week. They're available on the website as well. Jeff.
Just excited for these next 2 weeks of games. Unfortunately, win, lose, or draw, this will be my last game of the season calling this weekend. So sad for that, unfortunately. But it's I had a good run of 3 straight weeks, so the whole starting pitcher thing. We talked about that. But who knows? Who knows? But yeah, unfortunately, done for the season after that. But excited to cover the next couple weeks of the games and excited to see what happens. I mean, it's playoff atmosphere from here on out.
It's playoff atmosphere. It's week 12. All the games are available on nationalarenaleague.com, even on their YouTube page. Go to their playlist, click on there, and the games are live. And remember, follow us on all social media platforms at NAL Football, nationalarenaleague.com, and on Facebook at nationalarenaleague.com. And remember to follow us on Inside the Walls at InWallsPod. Episode 185 in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Much love and respect. Any final words, Matt?
No, just like Jim said earlier, get out there and support your local team. Trust me, I've got friends that I'm bringing to the Omaha game this week that have never been to a game, and I'm excited to see their reaction, stuff like that. Go to a game, go to a local indoor game, and check it out. I promise you that you will love it and enjoy it. And guys, we have playoff football every week for the last 2 weeks of the season. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. They stuck to the YouTube channels.
Absolutely.
And you'd be wondering, like, why do I even have YouTube TV if I don't like it? Anyways, Jeff, any final words there?
Nope, I pretty much got mine out of the way right before that. But yeah, excited for the rest of the season. It's just playoffs. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's winter. It's winter go home, or it's setting up for the playoffs. And the way these teams are, it's going to get very exciting. So keep an eye on all the games, and then obviously keep an eye on NAL.com because you can there's live updates on scoring. So pay attention to that if you're at one of these games watching it live. So just enjoy it. And unfortunately, we only got a couple of weeks left of the season, so enjoy it while it's here.
Do they post the scores on social media?
It's on the NAL website. I know the teams do a pretty good job of posting the scores.
Sorry, Jim. That was an inside joke between me and Jim. I apologize.
Okay, I was gonna say I missed something there.
It's been 2 weeks away.
It has been.
2 weeks away.
Like, listen, I know I post them in Wheeling because
You're good.
How rude! How dare you?
I should have warned you before I did that.
Yeah, about that. But yeah, don't even start. Put the finger down. With that, ladies and gentlemen, episode 185 here of Inside the Walls podcast. We'll be back on Tuesday at 9 o'clock with scores posted. Hashtag post the score. We'll do that as usual. We'll keep you updated with the postseason as the games go final this week, so you know exactly the implications of what these games represent. And also next week we'll do our predictions of who we think will be the award winners for the 2025 season. MVP, defense player, quarterback, offense player, all that next week. Who we think is in the top 3, our picks, to add you some more content for next week's episode. So further ado, it's been a nice episode. We'll be back Tuesday, regular schedule. Be safe, be well. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Travel well. Don't do anything stupid. Please go watch your NAL football. If you're baseball fans, go enjoy some baseball. Enjoy your cookout. Be safe. Drink responsible, and give water to Jeff so he doesn't get dehydrated for this game. He's being called on Thursday. Anyways, that's Matt. That's Jeff. I am Jim. We'll see you guys next week.